Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. As we're close to 2026, I've decided why not do another predictions video. I was a little bit off last year, well this year, and that's mostly because Tides of Torment was delayed like 70 million times, but the timings originally were pretty spot on. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about not only Total War Warhammer 3, but also details on Med 3, alongside some details on Total War Warhammer 40k. We've got 3 games now. Well, 2 of them haven't released just yet, but it's getting there. So let's just jump right in with the usual timeline format. But before anything, a big thank you to our video sponsor, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a platform where you'll be able to buy games at discounted rates. It's just been Christmas. It's clear that most of us have been spending most of our cash on other people. Maybe you want to get something for yourself. There's loads of games on offer, like for example, War Sales. The brand new expansion to Bannerlord is 29% off. Or if you're looking for something a little cozier, Jurassic World Evolution 3 is out and it is absolutely fantastic. I've completed the whole story missions. I just have to do the challenges now. It is pretty damn fun. Not only that, but we do have our monthly giveaway going on. Win the game of your choice. All you have to do is click on the link below, sign up, and that's it. You don't even have to make a purchase. This is a company that I've been using myself quite often because, as you can imagine, I've just moved and yeah, I'm sorting out all my tabletop stuff. Every now and then I want to buy a game and I do want to look for the best deals anywhere. Making a purchase with my special link also in the description below supports the channel at no extra cost to you. I like Instant Gaming. I will praise them. I've used their services and hopefully this partnership does continue. But with that being said, let's jump into our regularly scheduled programming. So I want to start off strong with January. I don't think much is going to happen there, barring the welcome back message that they usually do alongside hotfixes for Warhammer 3, which I imagine they've got one ready. Well, there is one in beta at the moment, so that one's probably just going to be pushed onto live. The 1 or 2 devs still working at CA at the moment are likely just trying to finish that up and collecting some feedback. But don't expect too much in January. Instead, in February, I could expect stuff to start moving. This is because January is usually the dead month. Unless anything changes, it's usually really quiet. Or there's big drama like Shadows of Change and stuff, right? So February, I could imagine the first hint towards the Cafe character pack. You see, that's going to be a smaller DLC, so I can imagine it coming out a little bit quicker. And I imagine it coming out first before the Lords of the End Times. Alongside that, I can imagine the first of many blog posts regarding Total War 40k, but I don't imagine that it's going to be released this year. So I'm expecting this to be kind of consistent once every month and a half or something, but it might be less. It very much depends. Creative Assembly have this problem where they announce a title and then they dig their heads in the sand. Remember, we had to wait like 6 months to find out that the Ogres were the pre-order incentive for Warhammer 3, and you know, they had put like, oh, we'll see you very soon. Fucking hell, 6 months. March is when I'm expecting the first of the blogs for Medieval 3. They did state that there was going to be one every quarter, and I feel like in typical Creative Assembly fashion, not trying to be negative, it's just how they are, they're going to leave it till the very end. So March, June, September, and then finally December, one every quarter for some blogs. There might be more, they might go a little bit faster, but at the very moment, it's looking like it's going to be one per quarter. And that's perfectly fine. Keep in mind that, you know, it's still early production and they don't want to show anything off and take away too much attention from like 40k because that's going to be the next flagship title. And I don't think they want to lift the veil too much, because if they lift the veil too much, then it's going to cause some problems. Creative Assembly like being very secretive, which is fair. Very small blog post with details would be nice. Just, look, we've got this vision, we've got this plans. Combat, I think it's very important because throughout most of their reveal video, all they basically talked about was like economy and peasantry and shit. It's like, okay, can we know about combat? It would be nice to see some hints of how that's going. It would also be nice to see some clips of very early combat just to see some matched animations. You know, something that we've been missing for a while. I think we'll also start getting some blogs on the Cafe DLC in March. It kind of makes sense because it's going to be smaller. So likely the introduction of the character, you know, the usual stuff with the roster, with a release in April, I think. April close to May. Unless something goes back, because my speculation is that they've had this content done for a while and they're likely just going, okay, now's probably the best time to get it out there, so we just don't do one DLC a year. So April, May, likely the end of April, but knowing CA sometimes, with something pops up, something gets a bit strange, or a massive bug. I could see it being pushed to May, but they'll likely want it out as quick as possible. April is probably going to be the smartest plan for them to do, and I feel like that's why they're going to try and hit April, because the new financial year kicks in there, so I could see them going, okay, let's get it out. Around May, I could see another push for 40k, and I think it's going to start becoming kind of monthly at that point. So May, June, July, August, all the rest, with monthly blogs to start really kicking it up there. And I think it would make sense because that's when they're going to want to start getting the hype rolling. I don't think it's coming this year. I think that they'll probably announce it for this year, and then it will get delayed again. Not trying to be negative, it's just no Creative Assembly game has ever released on time that they've wanted. June is when I can expect 40k to go on pre-order, so they'll want the pre-orders to go on for a while. This is when they'll start really hamming out the blogs, and they'll show off the pre-order incentive, which is likely, in my speculation, going to be a little bit of early access and some cosmetics. They tried cosmetics in Pharaoh, it failed, but then again, Pharaoh was going to be a very niche game. Creative Assembly have hammered on countless times now on how they're not going to be doing pre-order incentives in the forms of factions. They're not going to do units. They're basically just going to go, okay, cosmetics, 40k fans will eat that shit up, which, yeah, in all fairness, they will. And maybe like 3 days before launch, you'll get early access, which I think works out okay. But if that is the case, and it has to be very clear to Creative Assembly, reviews need to go out live before that. One thing I've always hated with Creative Assembly is that they do the review embargo 1 day before. They started doing a little bit better with 2 to 3 days, and then they've gone to 1 day before again, which is absolutely abysmal. I guess it's because they didn't want it to line up with everything else. But yeah, review embargoes need to go out earlier so people can make informed decisions by the creators that they watch and all the usual bullshit. Obviously, 3 days early access is going to incentivize a lot of people to get in there. That's more or less, I think, what companies are doing lately in terms of pre-orders. Now, attached to this, I think that they'll probably put the release date for November, but it's going to be pushed on to 2027. This is just something that usually works. It's the same thing like with what happened with Warhammer 3 and a few other Total War games. There's always a little bit of a delay just so they can iron out some issues. They want a large pre-order kind of focus anyway, because that means that they could end up just getting more and more revenue because they'll do blogs and they'll put pre-order right here and another blog, pre-order right there. It's something that I'm not too keen on. I will be very honest with you. The system that's been implemented very recently with the bundles where you can't pre-order them, I really like it. I think it's a lot more honest. Obviously, it's not because they want it that way. It's because you can't put a pre-order bonus or you can't put pre-orders onto a bundle. But I imagine that Sega won't allow them to not put pre-orders not only to 40k, but for like the character packs. Since they're single character packs, you know, they can go and pre-order and... yeah, that's just how I see it going. That's just literally how I see it going. Okay, July, I can expect the announcement of Lords of the End Times, like the proper trailer announcement, with the blogs kicking up there. So July, August, September, October, just being blogs, you know, faction rework blogs, character details, roster details, all the usual stuff that we've been getting and that we're kind of used to, with the tentative release date for November. And this is where we'll start to see the changes. They'll push back 40k until next year, 2027, which I think makes a lot of sense, with Lords of the End Times being pushed to December. The idea here is they can buy themselves a little bit of time and also get 40k up to scratch, because they know that it can't fail. I think 2 releases for DLC might work out quite well here for Warhammer 3, as they've got the promotion going on for the other 2 games. So it just makes a lot more sense to go, okay, we're not going to overwhelm everyone. Back in the day, we used to get 3 a year. It used to be great, but I think right now, this is a bit more realistic. And I don't think that's a bad thing, so long as the information on both 40k and also Medieval 3 just become kind of consistent. I did want to talk about like the stuff about like Alien Isolation, but it seems very, very quiet, which is a bit of a shame, but... yeah, 3 Total War games actively in development, actively getting content. That's good. That, I think, is going to be good for everyone. So everything here is pure speculation, and it could end up a little bit different. We could actually see Creative Assembly adding another character pack if they feel like they need to pad in some time, with the character packs being single DLC Legendary Lords being much quicker to release. So it could end up that we could get a DLC every 4 months. you know, 2 character packs and then 1 big DLC pack. Not saying that it's something that I could expect, but if Creative Assembly are seeing themselves wanting to get out something quicker in case, like, the Lords of the End Times needs to be delayed until next year, or they just want a little bit more going on because the, I don't know, 40k stuff isn't pre-ordering that well. Which, again, just telling you, you should always wait until reviews. Don't worry about the pre-order incentive, even if it's a cosmetic or anything. Keep in mind that those are usually done with 2 weeks post-purchase or post-release also. Just feeling the need to remind people, because I did see a lot of people going pre-order when, and then it turns into a shit show like Realms of Chaos, or, well, Realms of Chaos was the worst one, but it's just very important for everyone to just kind of keep their guard up until we get to see a lot, and obviously the reviewers, go to your trusted sources, all the regular stuff. I think all of these are good assumptions. I think the Cafe DLC will come first, mostly because it just kind of feels like this might tie up to like a previous leak, so it's probably just the content that was there. If that leak is true, obviously everything is alleged until proven otherwise, you know, it's just the general thing. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because obviously you guys will maybe have some different predictions. I should be up and running properly now. Hopefully the soundproofing's alright. I've put up a bunch of new boards. There's actual furniture in the room now, which should be dampening the sound a little bit. That should mean that content will be a regular thing from this day onwards. I still need to sort out for like the stream setup, but I'm getting close to it. Thanks for your patience, guys. I know it can be a little frustrating, and hopefully I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day. Bye.